Hi guys, so some of you asked me how I record my stuff, what equipment I use, and how essentially you could get into the same line of work. Now, if you're looking to record, there's a few ways that you can do it. The two primary ways are using a multi-track recorder or going down the computer route. Both require different types of equipment, but ultimately you get the same result. Now, a multi-track recorder lets you record various instruments and put them down onto one track. So for instance, when you hear my tracks, you're hearing bass, drums, guitar, vocals, all down onto one track. That's essentially what a multi-track recorder lets you do. So for instance, I used a Zoom recorder. It could record 16 layers of the tracks, and you could then bounce it down onto, I think at the time, a CD. Of course, times have changed since then. And it lets you do what I do on a basic level. Now, I'll leave a little picture down here somewhere and you can look into it. There'll also be a link in the description. So a multi-track recorder is a way of being able to do these things much simpler. If you do get one, you're also going to need a microphone. Now, microphones also come in various shapes and sizes, but let's keep it simple. There's a dynamic microphone and there's a condenser microphone. A condenser microphone needs power, that's called phantom power. Again, a little bit of a different story, but you get a better quality sound. I use a SE Electronics Z5600A. It's a 400 odd pound microphone, beautifully sounding, but it's a bit more expensive for what we're trying to do here. So you want probably a dynamic microphone. Sure, do a very famous SM58. It's about £80. It's a great starter, and we're not here to talk about the £5 computer microphones you can get. So spend a little bit of money and get something a bit better. If you want to go down the computer route, you're going to need an audio interface. Now, an audio interface is basically the conversion of the electrical signal from the microphone to a digital signal for the computer. It also lets you adjust the volume, the gain, and sometimes you can have a few extras as well, EQ and whatnot. I use a PreSonus FP10, also known as a FirePod, I believe. It's an 8-track recorder. I never need 8 tracks, I only need 2, to be honest. It's a great piece of kit, and it handles the audio levels really well. So whatever audio interface you use, ideally it wants to be able to handle levels going up and down. Let's say you're doing vocal work, you're going to be shouting, you're going to be whispering. Now, most of that's dealt with in post, but when you're recording in, if you have, say, a valve audio interface, it will handle the ups and downs a little bit better. A cheap unit will not do that very well and it'll sound very digital, so sometimes it's worth spending a bit extra. But if you're getting started, you can get a piece of kit that simply has 2 audio ins and an XLR input as well, which is very important for the more pro level microphones. Now, I had a look and you can get an Alexis IO2, I believe it's called, and I'll leave a picture down here, and also the link will be in the description. That's about £80. So far for the microphone and a lead and the audio interface, you're looking at about £180, which isn't too bad really. So next up, you're going to need a DAW. DAW stands for Digital Audio Workstation. So a digital audio workstation is things like Cubase, Sonar, Pro Tools, Logic. There's loads of others, but to be honest, they're the main ones that everybody tends to deal with. Now, most of these do have low-end entry levels for people. I had a look, some of them tend to be under about £100, £80, around that much. And these are great for getting into it, getting started. Again, using them is a whole different kettle of fish, but we can talk about that in a different video. So, you've got your microphone, your audio interface, and your DAW. You're pretty much ready to start recording. Doesn't matter if you're recording a guitar or vocals, it's pretty much the same process. Just make sure that you don't peak the levels. This is when the audio that goes in is too loud for the audio interface to handle, and quite often you'll see a red bar that goes outside of the designated areas on the digital audio workstation. Again, a bit of a different video, but it's quite important that you always keep the levels within those boundaries. So, hopefully that helps. And if there's anything else you need to know in the future, let me know in the comments, we can have a little chat about it. There is more that we can talk about, including compressions, EQs, reverbs, everything in post that you do after you've recorded, but that really is a different video. Anyway, for now, I hope this helps, and I'll speak to you in the next video. Thanks very much.